A signal snafu, how a group chat exposed war plans. On March 15, 2025 at 1:55 p.m. Eastern Time, the Trump administration launched airstrikes against Houthi rebel targets in Yemen. This was no ordinary military operation. The details of this attack, from target selection to troop movements, were laid bare for me, Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of, in the most unexpected of places, a signal messaging group chat. Inadvertently included in a channel titled Houthi PC Small Group, I became privy to the inner workings of the Trump administration's war room, witnessing firsthand the discussions, disagreements, and ultimately, the execution of a highly classified military operation. My journey into this digital heart of the administration began on March 11th with a seemingly innocuous signal connection request from Michael Waltz. 2 days later I was added to the Houthi PC Small Group, a chat teeming with familiar names, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth, and a host of other high-ranking officials. It quickly became apparent that this was no ordinary policy discussion forum. This was where the administration was actively planning and coordinating its military response to escalating Houthi aggression in the Middle East. The gravity of the situation I had stumbled upon was undeniable. Here, in black and white, were the unfiltered thoughts and strategies of the most powerful individuals in the country, discussing matters of war and peace with a casualness that belied the life-or-death implications. As I scrolled through the chat history, a chilling realization washed over me. I was witnessing the anatomy of a military strike unfold in real time. The casual nature of the communication, the use of disappearing messages, and the sheer sensitivity of the information being shared all pointed to a blatant disregard for the protocols surrounding classified information. This was not just a case of loose lips sinking ships. This was a digital breach of national security, exposing the inner workings of the Trump administration's foreign policy apparatus in a way that was both shocking and deeply concerning. Inside the Houthi PC Small Group, a timeline of disclosure. The Houthi PC Small Group chat was more than just a platform for disseminating information. It was a window into the dynamics of the Trump administration's decision-making process. On March 13th, following my addition to the group, a flurry of messages outlined the rationale for striking Houthi targets in Yemen. The discussion, however, was far from unanimous. Vice President J.D. Vance in particular expressed reservations about the timing of the strikes, citing potential economic repercussions and inconsistencies with the administration's broader messaging on Europe. Despite Vance's concerns, the momentum for military action continued to build. On March 14th, John Ratcliffe, presumably representing the CIA, shared what appeared to be intelligence reports further solidifying the administration's case for intervention. The chat buzzed with activity as officials debated the finer points of the operation, weighing risks and rewards with the fate of nations hanging in the balance. The morning of March 15th brought with it an air of tense anticipation. The chatter in the group had died down, replaced by an unsettling silence that spoke volumes. Then, at 1:12 p.m. Eastern Time, the silence was shattered. Pete Hegseth, identified as the Secretary of Defense, posted a message that sent chills down my spine. It contained the operational details of the imminent Yemen strikes, targets, munitions, launch times, everything. At 1:55 p.m. Eastern Time, just as Hegseth's message had indicated, news broke of explosions rocking the Yemeni capital. The Trump administration's airstrikes had begun. My accidental inclusion in the Houthi PC Small Group had provided me with a front-row seat to a clandestine operation, witnessing not only the planning and execution of a military strike, but also the internal dissent and disregard for security protocols that plagued the Trump administration. Discord within the ranks. VP Vance's reservations and official responses. The Houthi PC Small Group chat revealed more than just operational details. It exposed cracks within the Trump administration itself. VP Vance's reservations about the Yemen strikes, documented in the leaked messages, hinted at a deeper discord within the administration's ranks. His concerns, centered around the timing and potential fallout of the strikes, suggested a level of strategic foresight that seemed at odds with the administration's gung-ho approach to foreign policy. The administration's response to the leak was swift and two-pronged. The National Security Council, NSC, while confirming the authenticity of the signal group, downplayed the significance of the leak. NSC spokesman Brian Hughes claimed the chat merely demonstrated deep and thoughtful policy coordination, and that the exposure posed no threat to national security. This attempt to minimize the incident, however, rang hollow in the face of such a blatant breach of protocol. Meanwhile, VP Vance's office went into damage control mode. A spokesperson asserted that despite the content of the leaked texts, the vice president fully supported the administration's foreign policy and was in complete agreement with President Trump on the matter. This statement, however, did little to quell suspicions of internal discord, raising more questions than it answered. The incident highlighted the inherent tension between transparency and security in the digital age, a tension the Trump administration seemed ill-equipped to navigate. Echoes of hypocrisy, legal concerns and Trump's past stance on classified information. The Houthi PC small group incident is not just a political embarrassment for the Trump administration, it raises serious legal and ethical questions. Legal experts consulted by suggest potential violations of the Espionage Act and federal records law due to the use of Signal for discussing classified information and setting messages to disappear. The fact that these discussions were taking place on a platform specifically designed for secure communication only amplifies the gravity of the situation. The irony of the situation is not lost on observers. Donald Trump, who built his political career on criticizing Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server while Secretary of State, now finds himself embroiled in a scandal involving the mishandling of classified information on an even grander scale. This hypocrisy, coupled with the administration's blasé response to the leak, paints a troubling picture of an administration seemingly above the law and unconcerned with the sanctity of classified information. The Houthi PC small group incident is a stark reminder of the challenges and pitfalls of conducting sensitive government business in the digital age. It underscores the need for robust security protocols, a culture of accountability, and perhaps most importantly, a fundamental respect for the sanctity of classified information. The Trump administration's failure on all these fronts has not only jeopardized national security, but also eroded public trust in its ability to safeguard sensitive information. The fallout from this incident is far from over, and its implications will continue to reverberate through the halls of power for years to come.